or not, this accident is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Soph. Today I am going to share the story with you guys that is the reason I've transformed my entire life, lost 100 pounds, and am now sitting in front of you guys filming this video. I've struggled with my weight for majority of my life. I believe since I was around 10 to 12 years old, I remember looking in the mirror and being unhappy with what I saw. I believe a lot of that had to do with me being a cheerleader. I was one of the biggest girls on the team, and I took notice to that right away and immediately became insecure about it. Since I had these insecurities since such a young age, I at first thought that I was just stuck the way that I was, and that's how it was meant to be. But as I got a little bit older, I started to make attempts to lose the weight on my own. Even though I was far too embarrassed to ever ask for help, I just kind of got in these little moments with myself where I would try to do something about it, even though nothing ever came from it. I would constantly go back and forth from wanting to do something about it to then feeling like I'm just stuck the way that I am and I need to learn how to deal with it, which is what I did for a lot of years. I would just wear baggy clothes, sweatshirts, sweatpants. I never took care of myself. I remember I used to have to stack 2 pairs of leggings on because my first pair of leggings that I had on would have holes on the inner thigh part because my thighs would always chafe so bad together. So I always stacked my leggings up so that I didn't have to throw away one of my pairs of leggings. So all these little things were just constantly swarming my brain on a regular basis, 24/7. I would think about it anytime I walked past a mirror and saw myself, or when I was with my friends, I was constantly comparing myself because I was the only bigger girl. Everybody loved me. Everybody loved my personality. I just felt like the funny fat friend. When I started high school, I was on the JV cheer team. During that time, I actually ended up losing a little bit of weight naturally because I was so physically active and busy with cheer that I was able to lose a little bit of weight without even myself realizing. However, that phase of my life came to an end very, very quickly. Just after my freshman year, I had to quit cheerleading permanently. School would not let me continue because in my first 2 seasons freshman year, I had, I believe, 3 concussions that the school knew about, and their rule was because of that, I was not able to continue within sports. So I had to quit, and after my freshman year, from sophomore to senior year, I had 0 to none physical activity minus gym, which I would ditch and definitely not try when I did show up. From sophomore to senior year, I put on a lot of weight that I didn't even realize because at that point in time, I was already used to being uncomfortable with my own body and not liking myself, that as bad as it sounds, that became normal to me. I really didn't notice how much weight I had gained until after I had graduated high school. I remember when I was taking my graduation pictures senior year, I was looking at the photos afterwards and I was just in awe of how horrible I thought I looked. I couldn't believe it. It was the biggest downer on that day. It's the only thing that I can remember looking back on. I kept getting those little blasts of motivation where I'd be like, okay, this is it. Tomorrow I'm gonna do something. Monday I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna make this change for myself. I'm gonna lose this weight. And I would try, I would put in the effort, but I never tried hard enough to the point that I now know I needed to do in order to make a change. On top of my weight and physical appearance insecurities, I had a lot of problems at home. My parents and I did not get along at the time. I had just graduated high school. I had no idea what I wanted to do with myself, and that also fed into all the other problems I was having. I felt like everybody else was going to school, they knew what they wanted to do with themselves, and I was just stuck in this trap. I felt like the world was out to get me. On top of all of that, I had just lost my grandma at the time too. I overall was in a very, very, very dark place after I graduated high school. At that point, I literally did not take care of myself at all. I would go drinking with my friends 24/7, started vaping and smoking, and I never ate anything remotely healthy. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would buy food from out, likely McDonald's, Wingstop, or pizza, whatever it was that I wanted at the time. I would just get in between. I would snack on like Takis 24/7, and I wouldn't just have a little bit and go about my day. No, I would sit there and eat the entire bag, the entire carton. I was binge eating to the max, and then from that point, I put on even more weight. During this very dark phase of my life is when my accident had happened. It was October 18th, 2019 at around 7 o'clock at night when the accident happened. Right before that, I had left my job, which was working at an Export Fitness as a front desk attendant. I was leaving my gym to go to another gym to pick up my best friend at the time, and we had plans to go out with a few of the other people that she worked with at her gym. I was just about to exit the highway when I was hit. I watched myself get pushed into the car that was in front of me. I remember trying to brake my car to stop it from hitting that person, but no matter how hard I pushed on it, nothing was happening. When I hit the car in front of me, my hood was pushed up, so I no longer was able to see what was happening. But after I hit that first car, my car kept moving. It didn't stop. I just heard crunching from all different sides of the car, but from behind me, I heard the sound of just metal breaking and coming closer and closer and closer and closer to where I was sitting. Within those seconds, I was gripping very tightly onto the steering wheel. My steering wheel actually broke, and I was told it was because of me holding on so tight. What seemed like 12 hours was 2 seconds. I accepted that I was going to lose my life. Whatever the sound was that was coming closer and closer to me, I expected it to just take me out within those few seconds. Instead, it stopped. Everything stopped. I remember myself screaming. I was in panic. I had no idea what was going on. I suddenly smelled gas, and the first thought that came to my head was, if I was going to die, I would have already wanted to die. There's no way I'm burning in this car. I'm not burning. It's not happening. So I tried to do everything that I could to get out of the car. I tried to open my door. It wouldn't work. I tried to open the window. Somehow the window rolled down. My seatbelt was broken off of me. I pushed myself up, and I just remember screaming, and I look back and I see the semi-truck that has now eaten my entire car. I remember myself screaming in panic, and I was looking around. From what I remember, I saw nothing in sight. No cars were driving by. Nothing was moving. Everything was still. It was pitch black. And suddenly, to what my mind thinks, I saw 2 men look like they came running from the sky down to the street, and they came right up to me yelling, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay?" All I remember myself saying was, "Get me out of here." These 2 men grab my arms and pull me out of the car. They lay me down on the expressway. I'm just screaming. I'm in shock. I don't know what's going on still. They kept trying to talk to me and ask if I was okay. They kept asking me all sorts of questions. It was going in one ear and right out the other. I was able to move, but it didn't feel like it at the same time. My body was just in utter shock. Massive disclaimer, less than 24 hours before this accident happened, I had gotten a brand new car that got hit in the accident. On top of the accident happening, it was in a brand new car that I had just gotten the night before. My brain was all over the place. I was just in so much shock, I couldn't believe it. And as I was laying on the road, the ambulance came. The paramedics picked me up. All I remember myself constantly saying back to back is, "I'm going to die." The paramedics put me in the ambulance. They cut my sweatshirt off of me. They put me in a neck brace. I couldn't see what was going on anymore, which made it even worse for myself. I felt so much pain, and I wasn't able to see what it was. So I just kept repeating, "I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying." No matter how many times they told me I wasn't, that didn't matter to me at that point. I got to the hospital. They ended up throwing me from machine to machine to machine for tests. My family came piling in, everybody in the emergency room. They're all looking over me in shock. It scared me even more. I still couldn't see what was going on. I kept trying to get up, but with the neck brace on, I couldn't. The nurse was flashing a flashlight into my eyes saying, "Did you cause this accident? Did you do this?" It made me freak out even more. Arlington Heights Northwestern Hospital, you suck. Your bedside manner is dog. This woman was standing over me, accusing me of causing this entire accident. At this point, I was just losing my mind. She asked me if I had fallen asleep behind the wheel. At the time, I still had no idea as to what happened. They're throwing me from machine to machine. I'm in so much pain. I'm screaming as they're putting me in different machines. These doctors weren't saying a single word to me. They weren't telling me anything. They weren't checking on me. They weren't asking if I was okay. I was stuck in my neck brace, and they were all conversating back and forth with each other. Finally, I was brought back into my room. They removed my neck brace off of me, where I was then able to sit up, and I saw my entire family sitting in this emergency room. The doctor comes in. She tells me to get up and walk. I got up and I walked, and she looked at me and said, "Okay, you're discharged." I left the hospital that same night. Afterward, I saw pictures of the accident. That is when I actually had realization as to what just happened to me. Truck driver was driving 65 miles per hour when he had fallen asleep behind the wheel. Don't quote me on the number of cars, but it was between 6 and 8 cars that were involved in this accident, me being one, and the rest I was pushed into. Everybody in the accident did indeed survive. I did go to physical therapy for 8 to 9 months after the accident for my neck, back, and shoulders. Other than that, I walked away from that accident with nothing. I became looked at as a miracle by other people. A few days after my accident, I wanted to go to the junkyard junkyard and see my car for myself. My brother had drove me to the junkyard so that I could see my car. When I walked into the little office that they had at the front, the employees all looked at me like I had a halo over my head, and their eyes were so big. They're like, "You got in that accident?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." They're like, "Do you know how much of a miracle you are?" It really wasn't until then that I started to realize I'm a miracle. I would have easily died in that accident. My gas tank was full, which is the only reason why there wasn't an explosion. Me driving 50 miles an hour at minimum was the reason why he didn't entirely take out my entire car. If one little thing was off or different, the outcome would have been entirely different. The single news article that was written about this accident, they had seemed to believe that there was a person ejected from the car, and that person was me. People thought I died that night, and I walked away. I only spent 9 months in physical therapy. That was my inspiration. The life that I daydream about every single day, I am going to do whatever it takes to make that a reality. As I was wrapping up physical therapy is when I started working out at the gym. I had no idea what I was doing. I hired a personal trainer at the time, which did not help me whatsoever. I learned a few workouts, but after that, it still didn't help me. I still felt lost after my sessions were over. From that point, I just kept going and going and going and going. No matter what, I just kept showing up to the gym, kept trying to eat balanced meals regularly. No matter how long I went without seeing results, I just kept showing up. I did not give up. I refused. I was not going to do that this time. I owed it to myself and God to do something with this life that I was given a second chance at, because it easily could have been taken away from me within those seconds. I would have ended things off as a depressed, upset, insecure 19-year-old girl. And that wasn't meant to be my story. 7 months into my journey, I finally started seeing physical results. I started making changes for myself and doing everything that I could to make a happy and healthy life. Before my accident, I thought it was impossible, but the accident showed me that that wasn't true. So I just kept on going no matter what. And eventually, I did it. I lost the weight. I felt like I had done the impossible. I made it happen. And from that point, after I lost the weight, that wasn't it for me. I immediately had the spark, the inspiration to start a page in order to help others do what I've spent my entire life not being able to do. So I started my Instagram page. However, in between that, my journey had a lot of ups and downs where I had stopped posting on it, and a lot of things just happened in life where I didn't continue, but I found my way back, continued to share every second of my journey since then. I want to inspire others to do what I thought I could not do for my entire life. I knew that my story happened to me for a reason, and it wasn't meant to just help me lose weight. It was meant to help others realize that not only you can do anything that you put your mind to, but life is so precious. Things can be taken away from you within seconds. We need to make the best out of these lives. We need to take care of ourselves, do things that make us happy. If we don't like something, we need to change it. And that includes our weight, our physical appearances. If we don't like something, we need to do something about it. We need to step up and speak for ourselves, make changes for ourselves, do the impossible, because no matter what, nothing is ever impossible. It only becomes impossible when you believe that it is. You can do anything that you put your mind to. This accident happened to me so that I can sit here today and say that to you. Those bad situations in life that seem like the worst thing that's ever happening to you, everything has a reason. There's a purpose for everything. Keep pushing through. That accident that I got involved in, I thought it was the world's worst thing that could ever happen to me. And when I got home that night, I had never been so low in my entire life. That night, I did not realize that I was a miracle. I looked at it as the world was out to get me. Those things that weren't going right in my life were my stepping stones to reach the place that I'm in today. Some situations are worse than others, 100%, but there is a reason why everything happens to us. This happened to me to make me a better person, to put me in the position that I'm in today, to tell you this. Everything happens for a reason. If bad things don't happen to us, we don't grow. Never give up. No matter how dark life seems right now, okay? No matter how bad it can seem, whether it's weight, whether it's family life, whatever it is, keep on going. Don't for a second give up. I thank you guys for listening to my story. I really hope that this message reaches you guys. Life is precious. Take care of it. Take care of yourselves. do good things, take risks, always believe in yourself, push through the bad situations that happen in your life. I always believe in you. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye.